All right, everybody, good afternoon. The deadline has come and gone. Every team must now be at 53 rostered players. Now, we don't know exactly what the 53-man roster is for the Seahawks yet. They have not yet made their roster decisions public. They've made some of them. We know some of the cuts, but there are still quite a few that we don't know about yet. Still waiting. Might not know until this evening, honestly. Who knows? They're under no obligation to release it to the public. Apparently, they just have to have the roster set internally. So, this was the roster as of late last night / early this morning. Thought I'd go ahead and do a video now to update everybody on where we are with the cuts so we can get a better idea of where the roster is. And also some interesting news. So let's go ahead and take a look at the field goals roster cut list. They're keeping everything up to date over here, it looks like. So we already know about Darius Roberson, Ian Bunting, and Cam Sutton. Those guys were cut last night. So let's take a look at the rest. The Seahawks are waiving Tommy Champion and Jared Hawker. So two offensive linemen go bye-bye. So Jared Hawker, who I bumped from the practice squad to the cut list after careful consideration, is now off, and so is Tommy Champion. Both those guys have a shot at making the practice squad, especially Tommy Champion, I think. And Hawker, too, if enough guys fall through. But for now, those guys are gone. We will circle back on those guys later. We also have defensive tackle Gerard Hewitt, who actually made a few plays in the preseason, but was a long shot to make the team. I had him as one of the likely cuts, so we will be clearing his name out of here. Moving along, we also have Travis Toivonen, so that clears the deck at receiver a little bit. It still leaves us with some difficult choices there, but it gives us an opportunity to have the 5 rostered receivers plus the 3 practice squatters, and hopefully none of those 8 guys falls through in any way. All right, so continuing on, John Reed was waived. It was kind of predictable after we traded for Sidney Jones, but there will be some desire to have him make the practice squad if possible. Doesn't seem like there was a ton of desire for him around the league, so it's very possible he falls through and ends up on the practice squad in a couple days, but we will circle back on that. Connor Weddington was also let go, and by the way, guys, I know Connor Weddington is a wide receiver, but look at the chart, okay? There's not enough room. I have 5 receivers here. I have 3 receivers on the practice squad already. If I put Weddington at receiver, I'd have to move everything over. Come on, guys. Economy of space. Anyway, he's gone for the moment. Very good chance he ends up on the practice squad, but we'll discuss more about the practice squad in the near future. And let's see here. Josh Johnson also released. Will definitely be a candidate for the practice squad. He will definitely have a chance at the practice squad. However, my concern is that he will probably get attention elsewhere. I think that's a guy who could very easily end up on another team's 53-man roster. He was an appealing prospect to a certain degree. He just didn't get drafted, and he made some heads turn in the preseason, I think. Let's move along here. We have Jordan Simmons. This was one of the surprises. Jordan Simmons. He's out of here. And it seems like we pushed him out of here because there is a particular player who supposedly has earned his way onto the active roster for now. That is Jake Curhan. So Jake Curhan, who I think had a nice preseason and who I expected to be a practice squatter, has earned even more than that. It looks like he's a backup offensive lineman. I know he's a tackle, but for the purposes of the depth chart, I have him listed at guard. Honestly, if push came to shove, you might rather play Curhan at guard than tackle in his rookie year because of his lack of experience. It might be a little easier for him to play guard. But either way, the point is he made the active roster. He's on the 53-man for the time being. And he becomes an interesting candidate to maybe play a little bit of tackle if Dwayne Brown doesn't show up for games. But yeah, that was one of the first big plot twists. So Jake Curhan is in. Jordan Simmons, don't be shocked if he ends up on the practice squad because he is a veteran. He's been on the team for a while. He knows these players fairly well. And we've had some passable results with him. He's not terrible. So don't be shocked if we bring back Jordan Simmons for the practice squad. Okay, so Tyler Mabry has also been waived. He's another very likely candidate to end up on the practice squad, but for now we'll take him off. Now, the fact that Tyler Mabry got waived is a good sign for Colby Parkinson. It probably means he'll be back within the first few weeks of the season. Still possible we pick him back up, put him on the practice squad, and then just immediately call him up because Colby can't go. But that is a bit of a positive development for Colby Parkinson. It doesn't seem like he's going to be out that long. Maybe not out for any real time at all. He might get back on the field against the Colts. It's not impossible. All right, so next we have Brad Lundblade, and this is a guy who will be a candidate for making the practice squad. I personally don't think he's going to cut it, but he did play okay against Denver. He was on the practice squad last year. It would not be amazing to me if Lundblade made the practice squad, but it really depends on what happens with some of the guys in front of him. Cody Thompson will reportedly be waived as well. So that's another receiver off the list. Not going to be the active roster. Very good candidate for the practice squad. Very, very likely that he makes it at least that far if he falls through the cracks in on the waiver wire. But will not be making the 53-man. Some people thought he was going to, which was an interesting thought, but not quite enough. We're just a little too thick at receiver, I think. All right. Gavin Heslop was the next waiver guy to get waived. And this is a guy who's actually played pretty well lately, so you can bet that we're going to really try to get him back on the practice squad. But for the moment, he is available to all other 31 NFL teams. Aaron Fuller, also waived. This is a guy who is basically a lock to get back on the practice squad unless he gets poached. If Aaron Fuller makes it through waivers, you better believe he's back on that practice squad, which is where he's been for, I think, 2 years now. And it's a good place for him. He's got NFL-level skills at receiver. It just not more so than the guys we have in front of him yet. But I still kind of like him. I'm not giving up on him. I don't know how to quit Aaron Fuller. But look for him to be back. Lakiem Williams was also released a little bit ago. A Spanaway Lake high school product, which I actually don't live terribly far away from Spanaway. I've been there many, many, many times. So local kid in the purest sense. I thought there was a window of opportunity for him to maybe make the 53-man after BBK got hurt, but doesn't look like it's manifesting. He will be on the list for the practice squad, but I think even there he faces some long odds. It really depends on what happens with Radigan, because we know we have Donkor there for sure. And the final cut that I know of as of this moment is Joshua Moon. So that was a safety who I did not expect to make the team. Obviously, he has a chance at being a practice squatter, but I doubt it. So, yeah, we're basically looking at Crosswell as being our practice squad safety. Now, that gets us most of the way there. We have a few more pieces to cut out. However, one thing that has been reported, it's not verified yet, but it has been reported that Jake Curhan was the only UDFA this year to make the 53-man. Therefore, if that statement is true, we can extrapolate a few things. Cade Johnson obviously couldn't have made the team. Now, Cade Johnson hopefully falls to the practice squad, but we all know that he's coveted, and somebody may very well go after him. I believe that also would rule out Greg Island, and I don't know if Pierre-Olivier Lestage counts, but if he does count, then he's also obviously cut, which was expected. And John Radigan and Ashari Crosswell will also have been cut if that statement is true. So if you clear those names out, and again, that's obviously an assumption, But if you clear those names out, which seems reasonable to do in the first place, you get down very quickly to just a handful of guys left. I don't think there's any way that Miles Adams makes the 53-man. I can't imagine Sunderland making the 53-man. So, if you take a look at it, it's pretty clear where we're going here. No real surprises. Nkemdiche might nominally make the 53-man just because we don't have Atkins yet, but as soon as we get Atkins, I think Nkemdiche probably gets pushed back. And yeah, that basically gets us down to us knowing exactly what our 53-man is going to look like in a few hours here. So I'll make another video to report on the latest information once the team makes things official. But as of right now, I think we kind of know what our 53-man is going to look like for the time being. It's going to be these 52 guys minus Atkins. Nkemdiche takes the place of Atkins. Everyone else is cut. And then Nkemdiche has to clear waivers to get on the practice squad after Atkins is in the building. All right, so that was quite a bit to go through. A lot of cuts done, still a few left. Still need to verify some information as being factual. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down below about the cuts. Again, no surprises here except for Curhan, which is actually really cool because Curhan worked his ass off this preseason, and he deserves it. He's been awesome. He's a good guy, good player, impressed me. Forsyth and Curhan have a chance to be the tackles of the future on this team, so that's cool. I'm sorry, this should not be Jamarco Jones. This should actually now be Jordan Simmons, who I guess that Jamarco Jones and Philip Haynes are kind of battling it out for the last offensive line spot, or we're going to get rid of Cedric Ogbuehi, which would be a surprising fall from grace from him. But we'll sort that out in the coming hours. All right, see you guys later. Peace out. Go Hawks. It's happening.